Hey, Hoosier fans, welcome back to another episode here as part of our summer series alongside Griffin Gonzalez. My name is Greg Murray. We appreciate you all taking some time to be with us, and we have a great guest lined up here this week. We have a very decorated Indiana athlete, a Big Ten champion who just wrapped up his redshirt junior season for the Indiana track team. He is Ben Veatch. Ben, appreciate you chatting with us, man. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
We are doing just fine during this quarantine time, summertime. We're getting into June. Let's talk about you and kind of where you're at, where you've been. You're a Big Ten champion. That's pretty much the most recent thing that's happened to you in your IU career before everything got shut down for the rest of the time. But you guys, as the Indiana indoor men's track and field team, finish up that indoor championship with a title. What was that moment like? What was that weekend like? And especially now, as you know, the last few weeks there of your season being going out on top, if you will, in an unexpected kind of way.
Yeah, for sure. The indoor season was a mixed bag for sure. Early season, I was injured. I had a little bit of a knee injury, and was able to come back and compete at the Big Ten championships with the team. We knew we had a special team all year. We had gotten second runner up two or three times in a row, going back to the indoor championships and the last two outdoor championships. And so we knew it was our time. It was a long time coming for us. And everybody on the day just stepped up. It was a full team effort. We scored in nearly every event, had contributions from everyone. So it wasn't a one-man show for sure. It was everybody chipping in their work. So it was just a great coming together moment as a team for sure.
You guys finish up with that indoor title. What are the emotions in, the last few minutes there where you can sense it, you know it's coming, but take me through that time and what you remember from it.
Yeah, I know it perfectly. It basically came down to I was running the 5K with my teammate Kyle Mao, and we knew I didn't really know the point totals and what it was all coming down to, but my coach told me if we scored 14, 15 points, we were going to win the meet. And so Kyle and I went out there in the 5K, and the laps go by and the crowd thins out, and it comes down to three guys, Morgan Bielskam from Michigan State, me, and Kyle Mao. And the whole team, our whole team is cheering on the sidelines with they're at the 100 to go mark. And every time we come around the lap, they're just getting louder and louder and louder. And we go 2-3 and get 14 points. And afterwards, my coach comes up to me and says, we won the meet. And we only needed 5 points, but he just told me we needed 14 just to make sure that we got it. But yeah, it was just pure. It was the happiest I've ever been to get out-leaned. I got second in the race, but it was the happiest I've ever been to get second because, the team won and we secured the victory and they rushed the track. And it was Kyle and I had the greatest race of our lives. It was so fun.
Ben, you've already – in the first two questions, you're already talking about the team. Your sport sometimes gets almost like it's a single accomplishment thing. It's more focused on the individual rather than the team. However, you've already established that isn't the case. I was wondering if you could expand a little bit more on why that is and, how do you guys work together as a team?
Yeah, I think I think us in swimming and wrestling are all sort of similar in that regard, in golf too. It seems like an individual race. There's nothing anybody else can do in the race to help you. It's just you out there. It's your teammates, it's your brothers who are on the track with you. But we see it every day in practice. I can look over and see Recoy putting in the work in the 60. I can see Adam Coulon and Brock Moser in the pole vault. I can see Willie throwing the shot put, Nick throwing the hammer. It's just that culmination. We're still all around each other at practice every day, even though we're doing different stuff. We know the dedication and the time that goes into it. And it's so much fun to celebrate together then as an individual for sure. So at the end of the day, we had gotten second a lot. We knew what that felt like to come up short. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I've won two Big Ten individual championships in meets where we got second as a team, and it was terrible. And then this meet, I got 2 second runner-ups, but we won as a team, and I don't even remember the individual accolades. It's just so much more fun to win as a team, and anybody will tell you the same thing.
You mentioned it, that last comment right there, that everybody will tell you the same team. That just seems like something that's very, very consistent and has to be very consistent when you can get to a winning program like Indiana.
Absolutely. we pride ourselves on having built a really strong culture this past couple of years. I've seen it grow from a freshman, just being a bystander, just sort of taking it on, doing my job, and not having a real part in the leadership aspect. And growing into a junior, now a senior, fourth or fifth year on the team, and we take a lot of pride in the culture we've built. So we're excited about it, and we're just going to keep carrying it on.
Now, Ben, sorry, Greg.
Go ahead, Griffin.
Ben, trying to get to know you as a player. I know you have your roots in, coming from Carmel High School in Central Indiana. That's a cross-country track powerhouse. And I was curious as to, come from a program like that at Carmel, do you feel that helps you in a way, coming from, you're competing with those guys every day? A lot of those people go D1. Having that competition at such an early age, you feel like it helps you? And if so, why does that help you growing up? Yeah,
for sure. Carmel allowed me a great platform to train and become the athlete that I have now become at IU. It gave me a lot of opportunities to compete on the national stage, and every day in practice against my teammates. I mean, Teddy Browning was my teammate at Carmel, and he's my teammate at Indiana right now. We go back and forth every day in the mile. He has a better record than me, but we still get competitive about it. But it was great. It was sort of a similar process too. When I got there as a freshman, the team was good, and coming as a freshman, I was a bystander. I was just there to do my job. And as it grew, I was able to come into a leadership role and help lead the team to a couple state championships. And so it was sort of similar in the fact that the team culture aspect was the biggest reason why I chose IU when I came on my official visit here. It was the teammates that convinced me to come. Running college in general provides you with your friends for life. Like, all my dad's friends that he has now are like college friends who are his best men at his wedding. And, you make lifelong friends in college. I don't really know any of my dad's high school friends. And so making sure that I chose a college where I can meet great people and fit in with the team culture was the most important thing.
Ben, I know you have very, very strong goals, and you've had that as an athlete getting to this point and continue to do so going forward. With the conclusion of the season prematurely, as it was after that Big Ten championship, how much is it? It's not a good thing, certainly, but what's the training been like these last few months? I imagine, compared to, I use football as an example, but other sports that maybe are more reliant on team versus what you're doing, you're still able to get a really, really high level of training these last few months.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to when it all happened, we were actually in New Mexico at the national championships. It was a Thursday. We were about to go pre-meet like in an hour and go to the track and see the track. And, we got the news that the Big Ten was going to pull us out of the NCAA championships, followed shortly later by the NCAA canceling the whole thing. And so, like, we were supposed to race the next day. It was a very upsetting moment. Obviously, we're all prepared to do a lot of great things. And me personally, I thought I had a lackluster indoor season due to the injury, but I was coming into shape. I had competed against a lot of good guys indoors. Oliver Hoare from Wisconsin's national champion. And I took him to the wire, and I was ready. And so it's always disappointing as an athlete, a lot of opportunities taken away. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, that happens across the board. Specifically with running though, yeah, we do feel kind of lucky. If there is a silver lining in this whole thing. Running's pretty simple. You don't need much. You just need a pair of shoes, and that's not even necessary sometimes. So getting out on the roads, it's not too difficult. I mean, obviously, I would love to run with my teammates. Running with my teammates and training with my teammates every day is so much easier than going on runs for yourself that are hard and grinding. But it's much more it's much more forgiving than a sport like swimming, who needs a pool, and a lot of pools are closed, and basketball courts and gyms are closed. And so, in that respect, running is sort of a pastime that you can just go out on the roads and grind it out. So, if there is a silver lining, I guess that would be it.
I went and did some creeping and found your Instagram feed, and I wanted to ask you about your downhill mile challenge, and kind of let you explain what it was. But it was quite entertaining and obviously very, very impressive what you did.
Yeah, I don't know how impressive it was. I mean, I could go back and that was the first time I've ever run downhill. I don't really know what that's about, but I could probably run a couple seconds faster if I went back and did it a second time. But we were just trying to have fun. What we tried to do with our training block is replicate the indoor season or the outdoor season that was canceled, and so just train like we would in a normal outdoor season, and then we take our break and then prepare for cross country in the fall. Um, and so we were just writing our own workouts, doing whatever we felt like. And yeah, one day I just had the idea to try a downhill mile. And so Coach Poor gave me a measuring wheel and I measured it, and, it was just fun. It was just a good time. There were like 5 or 6 of us who did it on the day, and now there's been 8 or 9. And we have like 9 people who've broken 4 minutes in the mile, which is like the thing in running. It's not, it's not official for sure. It's 200 feet net downhill, but we've had a couple 800 runners who run like 420 and 415 in the mile who aren't even close. And they ran 359, 358. So, it's just something fun to do. That's all we're trying to figure out in this time, is just trying to get out there and have fun.
Just before Griffin asks a question, you mentioned that it wasn't that impressive and you think you can beat it. What was your time? Just out of curiosity.
It was 350, which is pretty quick if on a track for sure. My teammate actually, Kyle Mao, beat me. He ran 349. We ran like separate time trials solo. He ran a second faster than me, but we both agree if we went back and did it a second time later, we would have run 345, 344, something like that. So, I don't know how much there is into that, but I mean, I've seen downhill miles running 342, and some are running down a mountain, and like how big the hill is. Like it's all hearsay. It's just something fun to do.
I don't think I could do 350 downhill for a mile on a scooter, let alone, myself. Ben, you talk about how you guys have been training during this kind of time where there's not a lot going on. But how about away from your sport? What have you been working on, whether it be school, whether it be a show you've been benching, whether it be a family game night? What have you been working on non-track and running related?
Yeah, I've actually watching for the first time Lost, which was made in like 2004 or whatever, 2004, 2010. I've been getting into Lost. I'm like a season in now, so I've been binge watching that. I'm a big movie buff. Sadly, there's no movies coming out now, so I'm watching a lot of old movies. But yeah, there's not been much. All my summer class got canceled, and so I don't have a summer class. And now I'm just sort of waiting around. I'm actually going on a trip out west here. We're driving out to Utah to visit some national parks. They just opened up, so that's the only thing I really got going on my schedule. I mean, I'm just running and having a good time. I mean, just relaxing.
I get very jealous when I hear people like you, Ben, that are going through watching a show like Lost for the first time,
Yeah.
somebody that's watching Game of Thrones for the first time, Breaking Bad. I get jealous because I enjoyed them so much, but I wish I could go back and get that, that first time feeling.
Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad are for sure some of my favorites.
Are those your favorites in your book?
Yeah, they're up there. I like 24 with Jack Bauer. If you guys have seen that, that's a great show. But yeah, those are probably my top 3.
What's been I know there's a lot of controversy with Oscars. I know you said you're a movie buff. Well, what's been your favorite movie you've seen, let's just say in the past year? I won't make it all time. That's too tough. But past year, what's been your favorite film?
Past year, I mean, I'm a huge Marvel fan. So Avengers Endgame was a huge deal for me emotionally. Like that's 20 films I've watched, and I was all bought in. I know everything there is about Marvel, and so that was huge. I really liked The Gentleman and Knives Out, both sort of recent. So those are 3 good movies I've seen recently.
Ben, let's talk about you and your goals going forward. This is a 2-parter, but one going forward in your Indiana and beyond athletic career, but 2, take us through what you're doing academically and what goals you have that way.
Yeah, for sure. Starting with the athletic part of it, we obviously the Olympic trials were supposed to be this summer, and now they've been delayed a year. The goal for this season was to run outdoors an Olympic trials qualifying time to get myself at the Olympic trials. Was not going to get to the Olympics probably, just being a 21-year-old runner, but was definitely looking to get in the trials. So delaying that a year, that's sort of the next milestone. Sort of just hit a reset button on that one. But then after that, I plan to try and pursue professional running. The next Olympic cycle is 2024. that would probably be my best chance, being a 26-year-old at that point. So trying to come into my prime of running. So yeah, I definitely try to be a professional runner for the next 4 years. And then that would be a full-time job for me. And so I would have to put off my academic goals. I'm trying to become a sports medicine physician, go to med school. I've been around sports my entire life. I love athletes. I love giving back. And so that's something that I've always wanted to do. I've had a lot of great sports medicine physicians that I've interacted with on a day-to-day basis, just in my career. And so I love what they do. I love everything about that. So that would be the goal after that, to go back to med school and become a sports medicine physician.
2024, would that be Paris?
That would be Paris, yeah.
Paris, all right. That was just pulled it out and guessed. Got it right. Very good.
That's correct. 2028 is LA. They were battling for 2024. So
very good. Well, Ben, we want to go through some rapid fire questions, if you will. Some related to sports, some related to Indiana, some completely off the wall. So I'll start with this one. And just what's your favorite part of Indiana University that has nothing to do with athletics at all? Non-athletics related.
I would just say the people, the community. I love Bloomington as a college town. Just the atmosphere, the camaraderie of the students. It's fun going to basketball games and football games, just being one of the students, cheering on other teams. It's just a fun atmosphere in Bloomington, and I just love the college town.
Ben, what's your favorite professional team, or it could be an individual athlete you had growing up you really looked up to?
I was into soccer when I was younger. I was big time into soccer, and it just happened to be that when I got the FIFA video game, like FIFA 12, way back in 2012, Arsenal was just the first team on there, so I became an Arsenal fan. So I'll probably say Arsenal soccer.
Very good. Favorite restaurant in Bloomington around the campus?
That's tough. I like Bub's Burgers a lot. They actually have one in Carmel too. Lucky me. And then probably Mother Bear's Pizza. I mean, that's probably the most popular answer you guys get, but those two are great.
All right, Ben. So you're on a road trip. You had a long day at school. You need a laugh. What teammate you going to? Who's your funniest teammate?
That would probably be Teddy Browning. He's probably known as the comedian on our team, and I've known him for so long. So yeah, probably Teddy Browning.
Music-wise, Ben, and this is Griffin and I were discussing this a little bit before you got on, but I imagine as a competitive runner, you're not as much of the put your headphones in while you're running on a day-to-day basis from a training perspective. But let's go with the music route first. What's on the playlist for Ben Veatch?
It's a mixed bag. It really depends on the run. If it's a tempo run or if it's something I'm trying to get into, it's some Eminem. It's some Drake. If it's more chill, laid back, it's probably Mac Miller. And I love some country songs too. So I like Florida Georgia Line. So anything from them. I was sad. I didn't become a Mac Miller fan until after he died, sadly. So that was sort of a new revelation, but wish he was still around to produce more music.
So if you don't mind me just extending on that, because we talked about this for, I think, like 2 to 5 minutes about if you're running. So like break it down for me. You go for tempo. You're looking for something more upbeat or something that goes with the beat of your run there.
Yeah, for sure. So in general practice, we don't listen to music because we're all running with people. If I'm running with a person, it's insulting to listen to music. So if I'm running with a team, I don't listen to music at all. We have conversations, but no, for sure. If I'm running solo, I almost always listen to music. And yeah, some of the time, like I have like a hype playlist that I listen to before meets and stuff. And the criteria is like, I got to listen to the song and see myself like running with it and like the pace of it and the right tempo. Yeah, it's for sure like the beat that's more important than what the actual lyrics are or anything like that.
You go into pre-meet rituals, aside from the music you listen to, anything weird or quirky that you do before a meet?
I mean, not really. Running's pretty simple. I mean, an hour out, we go for a warm up, a 20-minute run, and then stretch and stuff. I don't think there's anything abnormal I do. I listen to music, but I guess so. One of the things that I think people think is kind of weird is that before we have our race, we actually do like a little 2-minute, 3-minute tempo about 20 minutes prior to gun time. So like when other teams see us doing a tempo effort 20 minutes before gun time, they're like, what the hell are they doing? Or what the heck are they doing? You can bleep that out. So I guess that's something weird. I mean, people don't really think that you need to run hard before you actually run hard. But our coach has been doing this for 40 some years. Coach Helmer's a Hall of Famer. He was at Georgetown for so long. And he's studied a lot of stuff, including physiology and experiments on how to best warm up. And so that's something abnormal we do, I guess.
And as far as sports memories go, it could be a personal one for you or one of the favorite teams you watched growing up. What's your favorite sports memory?
The Indianapolis Colts winning the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning over Chicago, especially after Devin Hester ran the kickoff back. That was sweet watching Peyton finally win one in Indy. So that was probably the most fun sports moment I can think of.
I'm enjoying this conversation, Ben, because you're talking to two, not only Central Indiana, but we're 3 Hamilton County boys here.
Oh,
2
yeah.
Carmel and 1 Fisher. So we're talking Bub's Burgers. We're talking Colts. We can do this. We can do this all night. Ben, we'll end on this. What's one unknown fact about you? What do the fans not know about Ben?
I'm a big spike ball player. I think that's my go-to. I don't know if you guys have heard of spike ball, but it's an up-and-coming sort of backyard game, I guess. But there's now NCAA club championships, and soon it'll be a professional thing too. So I love spike ball and love playing that.
Go-to team, right? That's a team game.
It's a 2v2.
2-on-2?
Yep.
Anybody on the roster with the Hoosiers that's just your go-to?
Currently, it's Aaron Bennett. He's from Westfield actually too, so he's Hamilton County as well. But yeah, we've played a lot. I actually just went up to my lake house with him and my brother and his friend, and we all played spike ball for like 5 hours straight. So Aaron Bennett's my current go-to partner.
Love that. Ben, we appreciate it. Again, hope you're staying safe, and obviously you're staying busy. We know that, and hope to see you on campus here in just the next few months when things get cranked up back in the fall.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Hoosier fans, stay tuned. Next week, we'll go to the women's side of the IU track and field team. Until next time, for Ben and Griffin, my name is Greg Murray. Go Hoosiers.